Interested in finding out what the Chinese inventions are and firsts that the country is known for? For much of the last century, China has earned a reputation of being a copycat with low-quality knockoffs. Made in China was not something to be proud of. Justified as this may be, it hasn't always been this way. Throughout China's 5,000 years of history, they have been known for some very interesting firsts and some truly revolutionary inventions. Here is a collection of the most important, and the most crazy, inventions that have been attributed to China. Number 1. The invention of gunpowder. Considered one of the 4 great inventions of ancient China, gunpowder first made an appearance in China in the 9th century. Chinese alchemists accidentally discovered gunpowder while searching for an elixir for immortality. Ironic, considering what it's used for, don't you think? During the Tang dynasty, around 850 AD, an enterprising alchemist mixed 75 parts saltpeter with 15 parts charcoal and 10 parts sulfur. This mixture had no discernible life-lengthening properties, but it did explode with a flash and a bang when exposed to an open flame. Number 2. The invention of seismograph. The Chinese invented the world's first seismograph in 132 AD. The ancient seismometer was built using a large bronze vessel with 8 dragon's heads that held bronze balls. During an earthquake, the Earth's movement would cause a ball to fall, indicating the direction of the quake. Number 3. The invention of paper money. It's true. We have historical records showing paper money during the Tang dynasty in the 7th century. Its use evolved from merchant receipts of deposit and was widely printed and institutionalized by the government during Song dynasty. Number 4. The invention of ice cream. There are several myths about the origin of ice cream. Some say Marco Polo brought it back from his travels to the Far East. Others say that Catherine de' Medici introduced it to France when she relocated to marry King Henry II. Neither tale is likely to be true, though both are romantic. In fact, ice cream has a much more ancient history. Its origins date back as far as 200 BC, when people in China created a dish of rice mixed with milk that was then frozen by being packed in snow. The Chinese King Tang of Shang is thought to have had over 90 ice men who mixed flour, camphor, and buffalo milk with ice. Other early ice cream-like confectionery indulgers include Alexander the Great, who enjoyed eating snow flavored with honey. Emperor Nero Claudius Caesar of Rome was said to have sent people up to the mountains to collect snow and ice which would then be flavored with juice and fruit. Kind of like a 1st century snow cone. Number 5. The invention of toilet paper. Interestingly, the first documented use of toilet paper dates back to the 6th century in China. However, this toilet paper was only used by the imperial court. Records show that by the early 14th century, millions of toilet paper packages were being mass-produced in China annually. Number 6. The invention of eyeglasses. According to British scientist and historian Sir Joseph Needham, China invented eyeglasses over 1,000 years ago. Amazingly, some scientists claim they've found Chinese glasses from as early as 200 BC. These glasses offered no corrective powers nor they protect from harmful UV rays but did protect the eyes from glare. Ancient documents describe the use of such crystal sunglasses by judges in ancient Chinese courts to hide their facial expression when they interrogated witnesses. Number 7. The invention of crossbow. According to Chinese texts from 200 BC, credit for this invention goes to a Mr. Qin, who was able to develop the crossbow with a range of over 650 feet. The invention was transmitted to Europe during the Middle Ages 15 centuries later. Hundreds of years later, legendary military strategist Zhuge Liang is credited with inventing the repeating crossbow. This kind of bow was capable of firing 10 bolts in 15 seconds. Number 8. The invention of movable type printer. 2 centuries before Gutenberg invented his printing press in 1450, China has records of a movable type printing press in 1040 AD. These records come from the Song dynasty in China, and the invention later made its way to Korea in the 13th century. Credit for this invention of the Chinese movable type printing press goes to a man named Bi Sheng. The movable type replaced the block printing method, which required characters to be engraved into an entire block for printing. Obviously, this was both time-consuming and costly, but more than that, it didn't allow for quick changes to be made. Number 9. The production of first book. The world's oldest surviving book is Chinese. It's a Buddhist text called the Diamond Sutra, which bears the date 868 AD. Along with other printed manuscripts, the book was discovered in 1907 in a walled-up cave in Dunhuang in northwest China and is on display at the British Library. Even before the development of paper, the Chinese were using woodblock printing to print on silk, which is amazing. The earliest surviving woodblock printed are silk fragments that date back to the Han Dynasty. Before this, as in 3,000 years ago, Chinese were recording events in a written language on what are known as oracle bones. These bones and turtle shells with about 4,000 character markings were found in the early 1900s by archaeologists. Number 10. The invention of silk making process. Legend says that silk was discovered around 2700 BC in ancient China. The story of the discovery of silk is recorded in writing by Confucius, one of China's most famous philosophers and politicians. According to his tale, the Chinese Empress Lizu, also known as Shi Ling Shi, discovered silk by accident when a silkworm cocoon dropped into her cup of tea. Hot water softens the silk fiber that the silkworm cocoon is made of, and thus the cocoon began to lose its cohesiveness. When Lizu lifted the cocoon from her teacup, the end of the silk thread was loosened, and the cocoon began to unravel. Lizu noticed that the cocoon was made out of a single long strand of silk, and she had the innovative idea of weaving this fine thread into a piece of fabric. This begins the process of sericulture in China. However, this innovative idea of creation of silk remained a secret for thousands of years, despite the fact that it became widely exported. It's unclear how or when the secret was lost. However, it was transmitted to Japan around 300 AD, brought there by 4 Chinese girls according to one legend. Another legend has it that European monks, who were sent to China in the 6th century to discover the secret of silk, smuggled some silkworm eggs out. Number 11. Invention of hot air balloons. China is credited with inventing the hot air balloon during the Three Kingdoms era. These unmanned balloons, known as Kongming lanterns, were airborne lanterns that were initially used for military signaling. Later, these lanterns were adopted all across Southeast Asia. Even today, thousands of these lanterns can be seen floating through the air in Thailand during the Loy Krathong festival. Number 12. Invention of noodles. According to a discovery made near China's Yellow River in 2005, China invented noodles 4,000 years ago. Here's what they looked like. These thin, yellow noodles were found inside a sealed bowl in a place in northwestern China known as Lejia. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to get latest updates from our channel. Take care.